I am Scott Racker, and I am the Executive Director of Character Counts in Iowa, which is facilitated by the Institute for Character Development that's housed at Drake University. And our initiative started as a legacy of Iowa's sesquicentennial, founded by former Governor Ray and a group of 25 Iowa citizens in 1997, who, in celebrating the 150th anniversary of our statehood, wanted to leave a lasting legacy that would have a positive impact on the quality of life in Iowa, both now and in future generations. And after much discernment about what that legacy would be, the vision and mission of that organization was to enhance civility through character development, to strengthen our decision-making capacities, both individually and collectively across our state, and what positive impact that could have. That vision and mission then was rooted in a foundation that has now resulted in a 13-year collaborative partnership with the Josephson Institute of Ethics, where Character Counts in Iowa is really the organization that facilitates the growth and mobilization of character development in our state. Now, we began in 1997 with one pilot elementary school initiative in West Des Moines, Iowa. We now have educators that have been trained that represent over 1,000 school sites in 306 of our 362 school districts, and just over 90% of Iowa's school-age youth have some level of engagement with the 6 pillars of character and character counts. And when I say some levels of engagement, I want to be very clear with you that one of the things that I think we continue to work on in Iowa, and I know nationally, we know this works. The data that you saw there earlier from California, the data that would be from Alabama, we have in Iowa. I could take you to elementary school that before they had character counts, 250 students had 400 disciplinary write-ups in a year. 3 years later, after character counts, they had only 20 students in the principal's office, and in the last 6 years, they've seen fewer than 5 students in that office. That's Cornell Elementary School in Sadell, which before they started the initiative had only 60% of parents attending teacher conferences. The last 6 years, they've had 100% parent-teacher engagement. That's because of this framework of character counts woven into the rest of their environment. We have a lot of data like that, but one of the things we need to do better, I believe, is the baseline research of these initiatives. We're very proud in Iowa, working with the Research Institute for Studies in Education at Iowa State University, to be in our 3rd phase of research on a validated instrument now called the Iowa Character Counts Evaluation Tool, which looked at levels of implementation and desired measurable outcomes for effective character count sites. And we believe this tool has great validity not only for helping us learn about what we can do to better deliver services in Iowa, but nationally, and not just for character counts, but any organization in an education environment that wants to have qualitative and substantive data on the difference that this makes. And if you think about Cornell Elementary School, I will tell you this, that school's test scores have risen. And I know that's an important thing. Excellence is important, academic achievement is important, but one way to increase those academic achievement is if young people aren't distracted by behavioral issues, if they're not distracted by disrespectful issues, if the teachers aren't distracted from having to deal with those, they can teach more. And that's what the research is bearing out in Iowa, and I'll be happy to share any of that data with anyone that would like to see it. What's really important, though, we focus a lot about young people in schools, but Character Counts is a community-based framework, and in Iowa we've taken that to heart. We work from the early childhood environment to the corporate environment. In the last week alone, I've worked with Head Start initiatives with their teachers and parent groups, as well as Pella Corporation and Wells Fargo, working on culture-based leadership valued within their own principles with the 6-pillar lens on that. Now, Character Counts Week just recently took place, as you know. A couple of statistics from Iowa. We had 316 entities that registered with the National Character Counts site for participating in Character Counts Week that would represent 130,000, just over 130,000 students in Iowa. That's over 1/4 of the students in Iowa. We're a state of 3 million people, just over 480,000 school-age students. Over 1/4 of the students were actively engaged in the Character Counts Week activities. One of the things that happened also, we had all of the High School Athletic Association and Girls Athletic Union use these coins in a coin flip at all the football and volleyball games with a statement of PSA about how character counts in their community. Another extension that we did statewide. We had a Pursuing Victory with Honor Summit where over 400 students and athletes came and heard great motivational messages and developed an action plan to take back into their school and a leadership team to impact the culture of their school based on the Pursuing Victory with Honor framework. We also hosted our Iowa Character Awards, which is a process that begins in January with nominations of individuals all the way through adults and organizations to recognize those that are demonstrating and building good character. We have over 50 volunteers that go through the nominations and select the recipients, and it culminates with a recognition event that took place 2 weeks ago in a banquet attended by about 400 people where we recognized each of those recipients. We also have over 20 community coalitions in Iowa that are actively working. We were really pleased this year to see so many newspaper and education partnerships develop where they worked with the schools and the community and getting the 6-pillar messages out. Urbandale, which also happens, full disclosure, to be the community that I live in, has taken this the next step in the public discourse. They've trained all of their directors in the municipal government. They have trained all of their chairs of boards and commissions how to manage a meeting with character. They open every meeting in Urbandale with a 6-pillar pledge of how they look to conduct the meeting and have interaction with the public. And this year, again, they had every candidate for municipal elections that will be next Tuesday sign a Character Counts pledge where they committed to conduct themselves in their campaign and, if elected, to strive to govern with the 6 pillars as a guideline. And if we want to look at breaking down the citicism in this country, it does start one person, one decision at a time. And in the political environment, it starts one election, each candidate at a time. And I'm really proud of Urbandale, Iowa for setting the standard that they expect their candidates to run with civility and character and to govern as such. And I think being here in Washington in the Press Club, I just have to say I think that model could serve all of us in this country very, very well. We work also in communities that have taken this in different directions. New Hampton, Iowa, as an example, built a wellness trail. Now, wellness is a really critical, important element for our country. The healthcare discussion that's taking place right now is also a discussion of wellness and the responsible choices we make. In Iowa, the Iowa health system, the 7th largest secular health system in the country, has identified Character Counts as one of the components of a healthy Iowa. And in doing that in New Hampton, they build a wellness trail where there are 6 stops to do wellness activities on the trail. And there's a pillar and a bench with the word trustworthiness or respect. And as well as a wellness activity, they've got a character activity for the family to engage in. So this is something that can be woven into any environment that you might be in. We've seen success in Character Counts through the arts. Our Young Leaders of Character initiative with high school age youth. After school initiatives have been actively involved, exercising your character. And the point that needs to be made, I think, very clearly, Character Counts can and does stand on its own and of itself to make a difference. But what makes Character Counts unique amongst any other initiative in this country, in this arena, I believe is this, is that not only can it stand on its own, but it can support and enhance any other initiative. We work with PBIS, Positive Behavioral Supports Initiatives in Iowa. We work with OVEAS in Iowa. We work with Smart and Good Schools in Iowa. It's a choice for educators or communities of one thing or another. It's a choice of how can we bring these things together to support the work of what we do. I find it fascinating that Wells Fargo and Pella Corporation at their executive management level are utilizing the framework of values-based leadership and performance-based outcomes on the 6 pillars to weave into their corporate environments at the same time that Head Start's working with parents to work on young people. And that's what a community-based framework does, different from anything else in the country focused in these areas. So I could, like Michael, speak a lot, and I know your time is valuable, and I'd just like to share with you, we believe that all of this is woven and happens one person, one decision at a time. We've got an active statewide communication plan trying to change the face of our state in that regard. It really is enhancing civility through character development, and it can take place in any of our lives and the lives of those, and we've seen that across our state of Iowa. And I'll be happy to share any of our information that we have with you and answer any questions after we hear from our last presenter.